welcome to the very first of this alumni web series that we have planned for you. It's going to be a series of interactions with our with former Endeavorians, right? Who have made it big, who've made it to the best B schools, who are currently with the corporate world, maybe a few years since they've been working, or who've just entered. Okay, so it's going to be a very interesting series of lectures for all of you to understand what have been the various hurdles or challenges that all of these students went through, and what is it that makes them who they are. To start this entire series is none other than Ananya, and it's a very proud moment for us to welcome him back into our fold. It's not that he was ever away. He's once an Endeavorian, is always an Endeavorian. So over to you, Ananya. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vilta. So, hi everyone. Over the last couple of months, I have had to do quite a few of these virtual presentations, and I mean, you don't get that same feel as you do when you have these physical interactions. And I would have loved to have physical interactions with all of you. Maybe that can be done sometime later. But what I would like to focus on today is my journey regarding CAT, regarding my B school. This is Let me put a disclaimer that this is by no means the 100% right way to approach CAT or a life at B school. This is just something that has worked for me. um, your mentors are more than well equipped to answer any question specific to your prep. So don't take this as as the bible for CAT preparation. Just take this as something that has worked for one student and has helped them to get to IIM Ahmedabad. With that, let me first give you a little bit about myself, although Vijitamam has covered just about everything that is. So I am a management trainee in the sales and marketing function at Marico Limited. For those of you who don't know about Marico, this is a company that has the brands like Parachute or Safola. I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, graduated earlier this year. I was a fresher right out of Ahmedabad University. I joined IIM Ahmedabad at the age of 20. So yeah, I did my BCom with a specialization in BFSI. I joined Endeavor in March of 16, so that was about 21 months before my CAT attempt. I was in my second year of BCom. That is about me. With that, let me start off with the CAT journey. I have divided my presentation into three broad parts. One is regarding the pre-CAT, that is your prep for CAT. The second is the post-CAT prep, that is your prep for the admissions process. And the third part is regarding the life at B school. Um, so let me start off with the pre-CAT phase, which again I have divided into four stages. Most MBAs have gotten into this habit of structuring their presentations in some ways or other, and I'm no different here. So let me start off with the first stage of preparation, which is when you have more than 12 months to go. So again, this may not apply to all of you. Right now, I'm assuming most of the audience members here would be appearing for CAT 21, and I think some of you have appeared for CAT 20. So either way, I mean, 12 plus months is not, you don't have that luxury anymore. But I'll still just give you a glimpse of what I did during those in that phase. So again, as I mentioned, I joined Endeavor 21 months before my CAT attempt. And joining Endeavor that early gave me some benefits of going through all those zero modules, which are crucial for fundamental building. And again, so what I did during this phase, this 21 months to 12 months phase, was attending all my classes. And this is going to be a common theme across all the phases. I mean, you just can't miss classes during your CAT prep, because I mean, if you miss one thing, it is going to there's a butterfly effect, and by the next maybe 5 6 classes, you will realize that you have missed out on quite a bit. By attending my classes and doing all my homework, I was through with all my modules, all the zero level modules, quant mod zero, and similarly for verbal. Now you'll have to give me some benefit of doubt, because it has been about more than 3 years since my CAT attempt, so I don't remember all the names of the modules, but maybe the mentors can help you with this. So I was through with all the 0 level modules in this phase. I was also taking all the in-class tests, and when I'm saying that I take in-class tests, it is not just attempting the test, it is also solving the test paper after getting the test corrected, and also analyzing it. So where exactly are you lacking? Your tests, in-class tests, will cover individual concepts, but within that concept you will have quite a few types of questions that you may have floundered upon, and this is the time where you should relook at those concepts and those types of questions and work on them, because you have quite a lot of time. It makes sense to just perfect that part before going ahead. Editorials, Endeavor really focuses on having editorials submitted in each class. To me, it was a lot of pain in the beginning, but by maybe by the end of, let's say, 3 months, I kind of figured out why those editorials were required. So they not only helped me in getting a good grasp on the reading comprehensions, but it also helped me in staying aware about what is happening around me. And once I'm aware of what is happening around me, uh, it helps me to engage in conversations with people, in discussions with people, which helps in building opinion. Building opinions is extremely important. That is how your interviews are going to go ahead with. And so editorials is non-negotiable. You should rigorously write your editorials, and this is not just like cutting a couple of lines from the article and submitting it. That is not how it works. Just go through the article, understand what the author is trying to say, where they're coming from, and give an analysis of that editorial. And I think that will help you quite a bit in your RCs as well. Again, joining so early will mean that your mentors will have more time in hammering in you certain necessary things, such as knowing your tables, again non-negotiable. Knowing your factors, and the percentages, knowing factorials, knowing the positions of the English alphabets for your DILR. All of these things, they help you in improving on your speed. And your Endeavor mentors would have given you a list of these things that you would need to know. I would suggest, at least that is something that worked for me quite well, knowing these basics to an expert level. Yeah. With that, let me move on to the next phase, which is 7 to 12 months to CAT. I think this is where all of you are right now, CAT 21 aspirants. So again, 7 to 12 months to go is, there will be two themes in my presentation here for this phase. One is gauging where you are against your competition, and the second theme is going to be closing your modules. So with 7 to 12 months to go, there will be a lot of Endeavor activities, like your DMC, which is a diagnostic mock CAT. Um, Diagnostic, I don't know if all of you are done with your DMC, but diagnostic mock CAT is basically uh, similar to a online mock CAT. It is just a pen and paper version of it. And again, so this is well before your mock CAT start. So when you appear for your DMC, you get a good understanding of where you stand against other people from Endeavor who you know who are a reasonable sample set for your taking population. So do well in your DMC, or if you don't do well in analyzing your DMC. Which are the sections that you're struggling with, or where do you need to work hard on? What are the kinds of questions that you get stuck on with regards to your speed? So that is something that you should do. I was able to get into the top, I don't know, 50 or top 100 in my DMC, but this was a reality check for me, because I expected myself to be much higher than that. For the goal that I had, I knew I needed to be not below the top 20, and hence this DMC helped me refocus quite a bit. Another great event that Endeavor organizes is placement drill. So placement drill is almost a mock admission process. It has 3 elimination rounds. You need to clear the cutoff in a test. This is followed by a group discussion. I'm not sure if again you're done with the placement drill or it is yet to happen. But I'll give you an overview of what it is. So yeah, so the first round is an elimination round in terms of a test. The second is a group discussion, and it is the final round is a personal interview. So this is basically how your admission process is going to be, and again you will be competing against other people from Endeavor who are pretty serious about taking CAT and getting admissions in these schools. So again, a good judge, good yardstick to measure yourself against. I was able to win the placement drill, and this gave me quite a lot of confidence and also a good amount of experience. Uh, Gave me foresight as to what to expect. Uh, in December, Endeavor used to conduct a competition called Emerge, where students from across all the centers of Endeavor would compete in competitions based on quant, verbal representation, GD. I think there was something related to ads as well. So again, I was able to participate in most of these competitions, and by participating in these competitions, again I would be able to see where I rank in each of these competencies against other people who are appearing for CAT. Um, so I made it to the final round of the quant competition, but I couldn't win it, and this was yet another reality check. Vijita ma'am told you I was a commerce student, and I felt very proud of my quant speed before that moment. And little did I know of the proficiency of this group of people called engineers. And to get the percentile I needed, I didn't just have to compete against commerce students, but also against engineers. So uh, that was a good reality check for me. um, Again, newspaper reading is a must. If you hadn't started reading newspapers, and if you're just going through the editorials till now, I would suggest you should start reading newspapers. See, building habits is extremely important, and one of those habits is actually reading newspapers. With 7 to 12 months to go for your CAT, it is also about 12 to 15 months to go for your interviews, and you should start knowing what is happening around you. If Because that is going to be the make or break for your interviews to a large extent. Also, there's more to life than just your B school admissions, and in general, I mean, being aware of what is happening around you and having opinions is an important life skill. So yeah, I mean, newspaper reading, just start doing it if you aren't already. At least I had started reading newspapers well in time. um, I don't remember the name of all the modules that are given in this phase, the 7 to 12 months phase. But you have, I think you start closing your quant mod 1 for batches as early that started as early as mine. You start closing your quant mod 1, I think quant mod 2 also during this time. And there are a couple of other modules as well that are given to you, which have specific goals. I'll be talking about those modules in the next phase, the last 7 months phase. But it is important before you attempt those modules, you are completely thorough with the first few modules. um, I was very confident about starting the next modules because I was done with all the previous modules, and I'd done well in the tests that happen at the end of those modules. So yeah, another thing that worked for me. Uh, the next stage is when you have 7 months to go. For me, this like I had just completed my second year, so for me this was a phase where my summer vacations at college had started, and I had more time now that I could give to preparing for CAT. And this was the phase where my work increased exponentially. Work being the amount of time I spent on preparing for CAT. So I was able to get through this phase with a friend of mine who was also appearing for CAT 17. And I know a lot of friends who also relied on study groups to take them through this stage, because this can be a very hectic, very intensive stage, and it is always beneficial to have people around you who are also gunning for the same goal, because you can motivate each other to get through this. um, So with 7 months to go, you start solving new modules. uh, I think these modules are the essential modules, cat advanced modules, and all of them have specific goals. So there's one module which is specifically given to you to build speed. There it is extremely important that you actually follow through on the purpose of that module and have a timer with you when you attempt those modules. Also, I mean, if you find out that in your essentials or in your marathon, you if you figure out that you are missing out on a couple of concepts, you can resolve your old modules. At least for quant, I remember the um, qa1 module had a certain topics that I ended up revisiting time and again, because I found out that I wasn't doing too well in those concepts, and hence resolving helped me quite a bit. um, it is also important that you appear for all the mock cats that Endeavor schedules. So for us, it was almost every other day that we had an online mock cat. And um, and when I say that you appear for a mock cat, it is not just a 3 hours of at least it was 3 hours for me. I think it is 2 hours for you guys now. But yeah, it is not just the duration of the mock that matters. It is also what happens after the mock that matters. So you get your rank, you get your percentile, you get your score, but you also get the answers, the solutions to all the questions that were given to you in the cat in the mock cat. And again, it is extremely imperative that you work on solving all the questions that are there in the mock. Sometimes these mocks are also like um, old cat questions that the mentors would have compiled. So it is necessary that you um, solve all the mock questions. You also need to analyze your scores. So which are the sections that you are struggling with within that section, which are uh, those topics that you are struggling with. If you build a habit of analyzing each mock, you will be able to build strategies for future mocks and improve your scores. Ultimately, cat is not you against a percentage or a total marks. It is you against your competition. So it is important that you also track your ranks. Endeavor releases these rank lists after every mock. I always had a habit of checking where I was on that rank list. My target was again always to be in the top 20. And then cat is a crapshoot. I mean, you if you're in the top 20 in your mocks, and if you have a good bit of luck, you should be able to get through to the college of your dreams. um so so yeah so rank tracking is extremely important. Another thing again comes from your test analysis is identifying strengths and weaknesses. So again, with 3-4 months to go when your mocks start, you will still have some time to work on your weaknesses and learn the concepts. So in the initial stages of your mocks, you can also like go back to the modules and learn all the concepts. And for areas where you feel you're comfortable with, try to improve your speed. See, cat is I don't know, you must have heard this 100 times, but cat is actually 100 decisions that you need to take regarding whether or not you want to attempt a question. And if you know that this is a question that I can get done with very quickly, it just helps you in attempting more of those questions and improving your score. So yeah, improving speed is also very important. Another thing I've been talking about it again and again is reading newspapers. So as you get closer to the date of your interviews, uh, it is more likely that the more recent news uh, is what is picked up in your interview or your group discussion, and hence having a very thorough understanding of all of the top trending news is very important. Once college reopened for me, I continued to put in the same amount of effort. And hence I was able to not only work on those mocks and solving those mocks, I was also able to spend some time on keeping myself up to date with the latest happenings. The next phase is the last 7 days. Again, you have some time to go before this hits you. But I believe that in the last 7 days, you don't really need to do a lot in terms of going through the concepts. I mean, it'll make you crazy if you realize that you don't know one chapter of your quant mod 2. I took a lot of time to just relax. Ultimately, you don't want to suffer a breakdown in your cat. Um, Having a calm, cool mind, a composed mind during your cat is perhaps just as important as the 21 months of training or coaching before your cat. So that is extremely important. I just took maybe one or two mocks in that span. But I did read newspapers. I mean, by that time, I thought reading newspapers also was entertainment. So yeah, I mean, reading newspapers you need to continue with, but at least I didn't spend a lot of time in concepts during those last 7 days. The next stage is your post cat. So you're done with one exam, but there are quite a few exams left, and all of these exams lead to some colleges that can compete with top cat colleges. You have your ZAT, you have your IIFT. If you're appearing for SNAP, you have that. You have maybe a couple of NMAT attempts as well. So CAT is not the end of the world, and it shouldn't be the end of your MBA dreams. I mean, if it doesn't go well, it is no, it does not have to be a waste of a year, right? So if CAT goes well, you should take it as momentum for the other exams. If CAT doesn't go well, you should feel that the stakes are higher, and perhaps focus more on cracking the other exams. Again, these exams are not same as CAT, and you will have to learn, in fact, an entirely new section for that. Again, so my takes can be a little outdated because I appeared for ZAC 3 years back, so the paper styles may have changed. But for us, at least there was some decision making section that I had never, uh, taken for my cat. So maybe take a day or two off. You've deserved it after how many months of practice. But then you need to get back to the grind and start focusing on these exams. After the exams are over, after all your exams are over, there'll be some time before you start getting calls for your interviews. Now for me, there wasn't much. I mean, I took that on, I think, 7th of January 2018, and my IMA call came on, I think, 8th of January 2018. So not much time for me, but I had planned in advance, like, what I wanted to do in that span. So I'm just sharing what I planned with you. But I mean, all of this overlaps with the next stage as well. That is, after the calls are rolled out. So again, news is now. I mean, news should be like P1 for you guys. Uh, you should know, like, you should have horizontal awareness of just about everything on the newspaper, everything that is happening around the world. And don't just, in fact, depend on newspapers for this. I listen to podcasts. I watched a couple of news channels online. I would read some articles online. And in fact, in regarding some current affair topics, for me it was, let's say, a Bitcoin. At that time, Endeavor would have certain booster sessions, I think that is what it is called. So in these sessions, in just 2 hours, you would get uh, really good level of understanding of these topics. We had some, I don't know, some 10, 12, 15 such sessions, and all of them helped me, uh, because the person who takes the session would have compiled everything that you need to know from your B school perspective, as well as from your general awareness perspective. And you wouldn't have to spend a lot of time on that. So 2 hours there is like really well spent. Next is brushing up subject knowledge. So for me, I am a fresher who is actually in the third year um, when I'm appearing for the interviews. they expect me to know one thing, uh, and that is what I have been doing for the past 20 years apart from my extracurriculars, which is my subjects. So as a commerce student, I spent a lot of time to go through my accountancy, economics, management. I had a specialization in BFSI, so I had to be thorough with that as well. And again, basic level maths. I mean, because of CAT, you would have gotten a good grasp on quant. But again, so I mean, knowing a little bit of your 10th, 11th types maths is also helps, just in case. And another thing that you need to do is to start preparing your profile. So as I said, there's a lot of overlaps between what happens before the calls are rolled out and after the calls are rolled out. So you need to continue with whatever I said in the previous slide. But once your profile and CVs are ready, you should take opportunities, as many opportunities as you get, to take part in mock interviews and mock GDs. Um, and Endeavor does schedule quite a lot of these. I must have taken some 6 7 mock interviews before my first call, which was my IMA call, and that would have been in a span of 1 month. So yeah, you get to have a lot of these mock interviews. Um, so in these mock interviews, you should know just about everything that you have in your CV, or that is about you, because that is how your interview is going to go about. I mean, they'll start off with your introduction, and then everything that you say in your introduction is on the table. Everything that is on your CV is on your table, and once you start speaking on any of those topics, everything that you further say is again on the table, and you'll be probed about your opinions, your understanding of those things. Also attending GDs is very important, because a lot of people face problems in speaking up in public. They may not have experience in group discussions. Preparing yourself with the fish market that it is going to be, most likely, is important. It will also help you build confidence, and it will give you a push if you think that you are getting a little complacent, because you will realize that how well prepared other people are. So then you will get a push in that regards. If you are applying to colleges where some form of an essay is part of the admission process, so for instance, IIM Ahmedabad has an academic writing test. You must practice writing essays, uh, because I mean, again, these make up a component of your evaluation. And you would not have practiced a lot of essays. I think apart from ZAT, which used to have essays for at least us. I again, take whatever I say with a pinch of salt. Um, so essay practice is necessary. And know the college. So this is again a non-negotiable. I mean, if you're interviewing for a college admission, you need to know what that college stands for. You should know who the prominent alums are. You should know of some courses that the college offers, and most importantly, you should know why you want to join that college. If you're not really aware of these things, and if something regarding the college comes up, and it most likely will during your interview, then the chances of making it will reduce drastically. If you I mean, it would come off as a disrespect to the interviewer if you don't know the ins and outs of the college that you're applying to. A quick couple of interview tips. So know everything there is about yourself, as I said, right from what your name means to what motivates you, to even what animal you resonate with. I mean, you should be prepared with just about anything about yourself. Know what you're strong at, and drive your interview to play to these strengths. I can expand on all of these, but these tips will be relevant to you at a much later stage. Three intangibles that interviewers definitely look at: your body language, your confidence, and how your personality comes out. Also, be ready for googlies. So I was asked by an interviewer how I can make a square a circle. So I mean, questions can be bizarre, uh, but what they're trying to evaluate is how you think, and how you approach such challenges. So think on your feet, and if you can't come up with an answer to something, state it explicitly. uh, you don't want you don't want to. So there's a MBA word called globe, which is basically beating around the bush. You don't want to globe in your interviews. The faculty members, the professors, interviews would be quick to catch that, and it will bite you if you try to do that. Next is about life at B School. Let me spend a couple of minutes on why I felt that my 2 years at IMA were the best 2 years of my life. uh, I had I was part of a 398 strong batch of PGP 2018-20, and every single one of these 398 was gifted in different ways. So my peers came from different fields. So yes, we had engineers, we had CAs, but we also had doctors and lawyers. We had people who had pilot license. So people from various different fields. I have a friend who has two patents to his name. I have a friend, who's managed the homepage of one of India's leading e-commerce websites. And interacting with such established peers helped me get perspectives from various different points of views. So peer learning is, extremely important in MBA, and we are taught by the best faculty members that the country has to offer. The late President Pranab Mukherjee took a course at IMA till 2 years back. We have faculty members who are Padma Shri awardees, professors who serve in the boards of top companies of the country, industry leaders. We have guest faculties from around the world who come down to our campus and take a couple of courses. So best in class faculty members, immense resources. So IMA has one of Asia's largest libraries with more than 2 lakhs books and just as many ebooks available to us. We get access to like the best databases and journals there are. At IME, we also have an incubator by the name of CIIE. Um, an incubator is something that helps startups to take off. For budding entrepreneurs, this provides a great boost. For one of my courses, I was able to do a live project with one of the startups at CIIE, and I was able to provide strategy inputs to the company. I was able to provide a roadmap to them. So that is again, the kind of projects that we are able to do here at IIM Ahmedabad. We have 50 plus electives in the second year that span across different fields, from marketing to finance to organization dynamics. This particular picture is from a course called Shodh Yatra, where a group of students go to remote places of the country. This year, um, it was somewhere in the lower ranges of the Himalayas. And there the idea is to help people generate ideas at the grass level. um, Again, we picked up a lot of challenges. The place inspires you to do so. In my second year, a group of students, including I, wrote the book that Vijita ma'am talked about. We in fact, the projects also, they are not the projects that you do in your undergrad. We did a project for a market research course, and the faculty asked us to write a case study on that for future batches reference. In fact, a lot of students take up project courses with these faculty members, which have implications on real life problems that do get picked up. You would have seen a lot of newspaper articles on such projects. uh, and there is more to B School than just studying. So this, I think, is the most important slide here. See, as Vijita ma'am told you, I have been involved with sports all my life, and I was the head of the sports committee. I was elected to the Students Affair Council, and I was able to organize this wonderful festival called Sangarsh, which is the IM AVCL sports meet. I was able to represent my college in two sports here. For people who are interested in music, there's a club for that. There's a club to cater to every interest. There's an astronomy club, there's a heritage club, there's an ecology club. I mean, you name it and you have it. And if there isn't, you can start one. The 2 years I spent at IMA had its ups and downs, but every day was exciting. It brought with itself new challenges and reasons to be happy, and it gave me friends that I would hope would stay forever. With that, I would like to end my presentation, and thank you all for listening. And I would like to open the floor for questions now.
Yeah.
So should I start from the top? I think I see a
Yes,
question from
yes.
Prachi,
Yeah.
which says, "What did you answer to? How will you make a circle from a square?" Okay, so I don't know if my way of approaching it is right or wrong. I asked him a question: Is it a solid circle, or is it a like a transparent circle? So basically, and I was told that it is a solid circle. Again, so here I'm trying to break the question into parts. Then what I said was, if it is a solid circle, I just break the circle into points, and then I remold those points into a different shape. And that is how I answered that question. I don't know if that is right or wrong. I don't know if there is a right answer to that question. But yeah, that, I mean, I got through to that college, so I hope it was right. uh, yeah. Next, I see Meet. I saw a video on YouTube. Thank you, Meet. I would thank Endeavor for that.
Okay.
Um, what was your CAT percentile and what is the safe score? My CAT percentile was 98.77. So as a general male student from, I mean, there's no extra points for females at IIM Ahmedabad, but yeah, as a general student from a BCom background, I was able to get through at 98.77. I know of batchmates who have gotten through at even 94, 93 percentiles. That is, again, I mean, that depends on the background that you have. You should go through the IMA website to understand how the institute divides the different buckets. I think it is AC 1 through 5. And there are different cutoffs for each of them, because the institute is believes that diversity in the batch is extremely important to the experience of students at the B school. And when it comes to a safe score, there is no safe score. I mean, it is a percentile after all, and again, there's no safe percentile. Just, I mean, if I tell you that a 95 percentile is a safe percentile, are you going to stop at 95? I hope not. So just try to get that 100 percentile and see where you land up. Uh, and I think that should, I mean, uh, a safe score should not play a part in the effort that you put in. Next is hello. Darshayu says, hello, I'm a BTech TY student. How much average practice do I require? Yeah, okay. Uh, so Darshayu, I think your mentor would be able to answer that question better. I have never met you, nor do I know like what you're good at, what you need to work at. So I would suggest, asking this question to your mentor. Okay, next is from iPhone. We have, hi sir, great session by you. Don't call me sir, please. I just got a, I was a student at Endeavor 3 years back, so please don't call me sir. Great session by you. How can one increase their profile who doesn't have good academics? Okay, so there are colleges that have specific weights to your academic performance. There you will, I mean, then it is out of control for you. I mean, you're not going to be able to change your 10th or 12th results. If you are in college, try to get the best scores there. But there are also other colleges where they don't consider your academics in the past. So if you think you have unforgivable past academics, IIM Calcutta, I think, has very little I think doesn't consider past academics to a great extent. I mean, again, your mentors would know this better. But in terms of increasing your profile or boosting your profile, find what interests you, and then try to excel in that field. That would show that when you pick up something, you have the ability to go through with it. uh, you can put in the effort to be the best at what you like. And then there is also something about dipping your toes in a lot of different activities. So you will not have only one thing that interests you. For me, let's say, I was good at sports and I did have a lot of achievements in sports, but I was also part of managing events. I was also doing case studies. So find different fields as well that you might want to get like an intermediate level of expertise with. Next is Amisha Kaushik. Apart from CAT, which exams should we prepare so that we get a nice B score? Okay, Amisha. So maybe it is important for you before even appearing for CAT, or in fact, this should have been something that should have been done before you joined Endeavor. You should know what you want to get out of from your MBA. You should know what are the types of colleges that you want to target. When you say a nice B school, that nice B school can mean, I mean, that is a very broad question. How you define a nice B school is up to you, right? But again, there are a certain set of, you just have say 5 6 admission tests that cover just about every B school. You have your CAT, you have your NMAT, SNAP, ZAT, IFT. For those interested in media and advertisements and marketing, you can appear for MICAs, I think MICAT, and there is I think there's an exam called CMAT, which also gives admission to, I think, Jamnalal Bajaj as well. So if you are not really sure about which college you want to get into, first research about that. See what are the exams that these colleges accept, and then prepare accordingly. I would even consider, let's say, something that you might not have thought about. ISB is a good college now that doesn't take CAT, that takes GMAT. But if you think that ISB is the way you want to go ahead with, then you would have to prepare for GMAT as well. So again, you need to do some homework before you get transfixed upon which exam you want to take. Next is Ketan Jain, CAT 21. Did you also do some internships with your preparation? So Ketan, I did not do any internships during my college, but I was like really heavily involved in my college administration. So I was a Students Affair Council member all 3 years at Ahmedabad University. I was named sports secretary in my second year itself. Most people, I mean, office bearers are generally third year students, but I was able to do it in my second year. I started a sports fest at Ahmedabad University. So I spent a lot of time doing this work, apart from practicing for CAT and practicing for basketball. So yeah, I didn't do some internships, but if you want to do internships, I mean, they will certainly help. Just make sure that you do internships in the field of your interest, and the field where you want to take your career in, so that it will also help you during your placements at your B school. Next is Shaurya. So Shaurya says, "Hi, I'm a BBA student. How much CGPI should I maintain throughout?" Shaurya, you need to first figure out which college you want to get into. If you want to get into IIM Ahmedabad, just go to the website and see what is the bucket in which a BBA student falls in, and there you will find what is the percentage that you need to have for a 10 on 10 score. So that is the minimum that you need to maintain. But again, I would say just like try to get as high a percentage as you can. For instance, I could say that I was ranked 7th out of some 600 students at Ahmedabad University in my BCom, and and that would help my cause. So yeah, I mean, there's no reason to just stop at a threshold level of CGPI. What is this? Yeah, Sahil. I've just started the preparation month ago, and I always complete the work. And after completing the work, I'm free. Should I be spending more on recalling? Okay, so Sahil, it is good that you always complete your work and you have a lot of free time after that as well. So again, if you think that you are struggling in some sections or some concepts, try to work on those. Apart from that, you need to, as I said, read a lot of newspapers, be aware of what is happening around you, read books, and if you still have more time, then man, take some time to relax, take some time to do something that you like. I as I told you, I was playing basketball during my CAT preparation, and that helped me relax and keep me sane. So yeah, I mean, you should take time to do stuff other than just CAT preparation as well. Survi, we have, could you brief about WorkX? Okay, Survi, so I don't have any WorkX. I'm a fresher. People who do have WorkX also make it to MBA colleges, but there is a limit on the maximum WorkX that you can have. I mean, there's not a stated limit, but beyond a certain WorkX level, there's a 1 year PGP course as well, PGPX at IIM Ahmedabad. So then, a lot of people who have, let's say, 6, 7, 8 years or more of work experience, they tend to join that course. It would, I mean, the placements out of the PGPX course are generally at higher levels than your PGPs, because obviously of the work experience. Again, if you're, I'm not really sure if you're asking about, how, if WorkX is a good thing or a bad thing. If that is your question, then there is no answer to that. I mean, we have people who have no WorkX, we have people with 1 to 2 years of WorkX and more. You can look at the batch profile. Uh, Only thing is, if you have some WorkX, be prepared with industry knowledge for that sector, because that is something that will dominate your interviews. Prachi says, how long was your interview and how did you stay calm during the interview? Okay, so Prachi, my IIM Ahmedabad interview was some 20 minutes long. How did I stay calm? So I had done a lot of mock interviews before I appeared for my IMA interview. Also, my mentor had suggested that I take a couple of other, like, I didn't want to get into some colleges, but I took those exams and got into, I got calls from those colleges, so that I had some interview practice before I appeared for my main interview. Now that didn't work out because that interview was after my IMA interview. But anyway, so that is another way where you can get accustomed to the admission process. But staying calm again is so I tend to spend a lot of time relaxing before such important days. So I wouldn't take my preparation to the last day, to the last minute, especially for an IMA interview, because then I know I would realize on the night before that I don't really know some concept, and that would be in the back of my mind during my interview. So I would suggest just take a lot of mocks. uh, if you have an if you have a chance, then take some other colleges interviews before, and finally take time to relax. Next is Darshayu. No, next is the Amisha again. How did you manage BCom study and CAT as well together? Okay, so Amisha, I had my so BCom at Ahmedabad University also has pseudo liberal studies field. So I had a lot of electives, and in my third year, most of my classes were in the morning. So by, let's say, lunchtime, I would be done with most of my classes, and then directly from my college, I would go to the Ahmedabad University library with my friend, and we would spend the rest of the day there. And if we have mock cuts or if we have classes, then I would attend those classes. So, I mean, it is it is possible to manage BCom and CAT. I told you I was involved in quite a lot of things apart from just my BCom and CAT, and I was able to get through with it. No reason for you not to be able to. Just be focused on preparing on giving a lot of time to CAT, not just BCom. Next is Darshayu. Also, I am planning for MBA in marketing or operations, but I'm afraid of work related to direct consumer interaction, for example, sales target, etc. So, is it that after MBA in marketing, you have to compulsorily go for sales, or is there any other option as well? Okay, Darshayu. So this is a so this relates to me more than most other questions here, because I am someone who wanted to get into marketing. See, in FMCGs, if you want to do marketing, sales is necessary. Um, Without knowing how the field activities work, it is not possible for you to sit in the HO and design marketing plans. So most FMCGs would require sales experience before you get into the marketing function. For me, it is about 3 to 4 years of sales roles that I will have to do before I get a chance to enter marketing. And I think it makes sense, because only when you would have achieved some sales targets would you know what it takes to make a product marketable. And is there any other option as well? Well, there are a couple of companies that do offer direct marketing roles, but they are very few, and the reputed FMCGs would generally not um, provide you this option. Next is Prarthana Raval. Hi Ananya, journey was simply amazing. Thank you. Thanks so much for the session. I currently am working with TCS and I am 2019 graduate IT engineer, working 9 to 5 and then preparing for CAT results in quite less amount of time than others. I am 2021 aspirant. Please share some tips for preparing to crack the DA. Thanks so much. Okay, so Pratna, you are working 9 to 5, and if 9 to 5 is the only time that you're working, then that is quite similar to a lot of other folks who are studying. So, like post 5, maybe take an hour to relax, and then you can get to your CAT prep. You can also spend some time in the morning. See, my brother also got into IIM Bangalore last year, and he was working with Ernst and Young before he got into IIM. So he took a couple of months off before CAT. That is one way you can approach it, but that is not the only way. I know of people who, batchmates who left their jobs right before joining IIM. So it is possible. Just try to spend more time on CAT. I am 2021 aspirant. Please share some tips for preparing to crack the D-Day. If you mean the CAT exam as the D-Day, then again, I'll go back to the same couple of things. Be relaxed, know where your strengths are, know what kind of questions that you want to answer, and build a strategy for your CAT. So, I'll share one strategy that I use for me. I didn't like the verbal TITA questions at all. So these are your para jumbles where you have some 5 lines that you need to arrange, and they don't have negative markings. So what I would do is I would first just go through all the questions and find the TITA questions. I would randomly put in any number that I can and mark those questions. So I think there's a flag option that makes it purple, the questions. And then I would attempt all the RCs that I want to, and then if I have time, I would go back to those TITA questions. So that is a strategy that I had built just because I took some time to analyze my mocks and knew where I was struggling. So similarly, find what works for you, and best of luck for that. Next is Darshil Zalavadia. He says, "Hello, sir. I am currently, don't call me sir, please. I am currently in second year of BBA, and apart from that, I'm doing job as marketing coordinator since I finished my 12th exam. Could it be consider any extra point in my profit because I'm doing job with my studies? I'm not able to do extra activities in my college. So I'm uh, okay. So marketing coordinator, is this like in your college? If it is, if you're doing, if you are the marketing coordinator, if you're the coordinator of the marketing club in your college, then that certainly adds to your CV. Because I mean, that means that you are recognized as someone who is passionate about that function, and someone who is, who has taken up positions of responsibility. So yes, any position of responsibility is, I mean, it is not like a physical extra point to your application score, because at least IIMs don't have markings for such things. But this is when it comes to your interviews, you would be able to drive your interviews around this point, and it helps there. So yeah, that is to answer your question. Meet says, how many call you get from B school? Okay, Meet. So uh, apart from the new IIMs and baby IIMs, I would have gotten some 10 B school calls. I would have, yeah, apart from Bangalore and Calcutta, I got all the calls. Yeah, so that is how many calls I had. Next is Sonal Mehta. If you are working in a small company, how to explain WorkX? Sonal, I didn't have. I mean, I might not be the right person to answer this question because I don't have WorkX. So maybe talk to your mentors and see if they can connect you with someone who would have encountered such a problem. And I wouldn't say it's a problem. I mean, as long as you can justify your role and the kind of work that you did, uh, it shouldn't be a problem. In fact, Dhwani, who made it to IMC, the year I made to IMA, worked as a CA in her father's firm. Again, so that would not be like like an MNC or a listed company. So people with such experience also get selected in top B schools. It, I mean, don't look at it as a problem. Just try to find how you can best put it forward in your interviews. Next is from iPhone. What are the types of MBA, for example, marketing, finance, etc.? How did you choose a field? Okay, iPhone. I don't have, like, IMA does not have MBA in specific fields. It is a general management MBA. I mean, it is just an MBA. There are certain colleges like SP Gen which forces you to choose your specialization even before your first year. So there, I think there is marketing, finance, and ops. Ops is operations. Then there are certain colleges like NITI which only have, let's say, MBA in operations. There is XLRI which has only MBA in HR and MBA in business management. So broadly, if I talk about the functions that generally the companies come to recruit for, that is marketing, finance, operations, product management, HR, yeah, operations, supply chain, pretty similar to operations, some roles for IT as well. Yeah, I think, and consulting, of course, but you don't have an MBA in consulting. um, Next is Ritik. I'm confused between finance and marketing. How should I handle this question for my interview? Were you clear about your specialization at the time of your interview? No, Ritik, I was not very clear about my specialization at the time of my interview. As you would have seen, my specialization was in BFSI at Ahmedabad University. However, I did not like finance once I joined IMA. So it is completely okay to not be very sure about your specialization, but especially if you are a fresher, and you can justify it by saying that that is what you want to explore in your first year, where all the subjects would be open to you. So find what you like in your first year, and maybe take electives accordingly in your second year, and even for your internship, uh, see what field you like in your first couple of months and take an internship accordingly. How should I handle this question for my interview? Generally, they would not ask you. I mean, most colleges will not ask you what a specialization would want. I mean, what specialization you would want to get, especially those colleges that don't have any specialization at all. Uh, but I mean, just keep an answer ready for how you would want to explore different subjects. Amisha Kaushik, according to you, on which newspaper we can rely on so that we can get complete news or the main topics? See, you can rely on any mainstream newspaper like a Times of India or the Indian Express, the Hindu. You can rely on any newspaper. They will give you the facts at least. Now, you should be smart enough to know if these facts are being colored, if they are biased, and if so, then read multiple newspapers. Watch some news online. You have quite a lot of good online news channels as well, and you can also go through certain YouTube channels. In fact, that is what I did as well during my interview prep. These channels would give you, like a Vice would give you investigative journalism. They'll give you the facts about certain topics. So yeah, Vice, Vox, all of those news channels, and I still watch those to this day, because I mean, I find them very entertaining. It piques my interest. So yeah. Uh, next is next we have Shaurya Shah. I'm handling my family business. Will that count as my work ex, or I need to compulsorily have some internships or jobs? Okay, Shaurya. So if you're managing your family business with your undergrad studies, then that will not count as work ex. If you're like doing it full time after your undergrad, it will count as work ex. And if and you're asking if it is compulsory to have some internships or jobs. Okay, so your MBA curriculum includes internships. So even if you have some work ex, you will still be made to do an internship. So it is compulsory. And when it comes to jobs being compulsory, so see, if you are applying for an MBA degree that requires work ex, then of course it is compulsory. But for most PGP colleges in India, it is not. Vishwa Shah, hello, I am in SY IMBA. How many hours did you study at IM daily? At IM. Okay, so Vishwa, the thing is, at IIM there's no start or stop to studying. Like I mean, there's no fixed time where you start studying or stop studying. We would have project meetings at like 12, 1, 2, and we would also like sometimes just be playing at 12, 1, 2. So there's no fixed hours that you study. Occasionally you will have to pull off an all-nighter before important projects. Occasionally you will have a lot of time to just relax. Also, don't go by the Quora answers which say that you need to like study 14, 16 hours a day at IIM. That is not, I mean, that is just not possible. So so don't get overwhelmed by that. Vishesh Datwani, in a day, for how many hours you were preparing for your placements at IIM? Vishesh, this is this is going to be like you have quite a few milestones before you reach your placements. Again, so preparation depends on person to person. I spent just about let's say not more than 4 years, 4 hours a day on placement preps, on placement prep. But I know that people have especially people who are preparing for consultancy, for consulting, they spend many more hours than what I did. May you tell how to make a strong and ideal profile for a B school? Saloni, there's no ideal profile for a B school, but as I told someone else as well, try to find certain spikes in your CV, certain areas where you can excel at something that you really like. If it is sports, then you try to excel in that. If there's some art that you like, just try to excel in that. So that will give you some good talking point in your interview. Also try to see if you can cover multiple bases, like not just be like a one trick horse. Try to have maybe 3 4 other things as well that you can be good at or you can talk about. Meet Patel, if I'm extremely interested in the study of brain and philosophy, will it consider in my CV? I am asking it because it's totally different from my background, as I belong from commerce background. Meet, so if you have something to validate your interest, let's say a Coursera certificate in this, then you can put it on your CV. Otherwise you can put it as other interests in your CV, but I mean, you will have to find a way to bring that in your interview. And if you're able to do that, then that will, I mean, it will not be considered in your CV, but that becomes a talking point. One last question from Meet Lalwani. Can we get your book for reading at Endeavor Careers? So, Meet, we don't have, I mean, we are still working with the publishing house to get it like circulated across the country. Right now, that book is only for institutional use at IIM Ahmedabad.
So I have a question for you, Ananya, and I'm
Yes, ma'am.
I'm I'm not too sure if anyone posed something like that. It's to do with the motivation levels that you have to keep sustaining throughout, this long journey. Were
Right.
there any times when you felt very demotivated, or you saw among your batchmates, your peers around, feeling the feeling of demotivation? How do you think you can handle that? Is that normal, to feel very demotivated from time to time?
Um So Vijita, DMC is, I think, the first milestone
Correct.
where you are put up against everyone else who's preparing for CAT from Endeavor, and that gives you a real shock when you realize where you stand against your competition, and it is easy to get demotivated in such a scenario. And there will be always there will be some hurdles. There will be OMCs that don't go well. There will be some in-class tests that don't go well. There will be some cases where your mentor cold calls you for answering some questions, and you might not know the answer to that. And there will always be such you will always find such hurdles. But I mean, that is something that you will be facing after your CAT as well, in your B schools as well. And it is important to stay motivated. And how I stayed motivated was, one is to find a study buddy or a study group, so that all of you can keep each other motivated. Apart from that, I had set my goals, and I knew that to achieve those goals I had to I broke those goals down into how much, where I needed to stand in my mock cats, where I needed to stand in my DMCs, and so on. So setting achievable goals that recur, that you can achieve in few intervals. I think those things help in keeping you focused and on track. And speaking to your mentors, I know of friends who have had to speak to the mentors because they felt that maybe they are not ready for CAT because it can be daunting.
Yes. So that's definitely. So for the others, that DMC that Ananya was talking about is that EOM zero, Endeavor Open Mock CAT zero that we've announced for you on Jan 24th and 25th. Okay, that's what he is referring to. That was called Diagnostic Mock CAT in during Ananya's time. Okay, is there anything else? Nice one. Yes, that's a good question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
See, Anushka, I mean, that will again depend from person to person. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Uh, very personal question that is. For me, I knew that I want. So as a fresher, there's a reason why you join an MBA college right out of college, right out of your UG. Why you want to get into the corporate at an early stage because you believe that you are more receptive to whatever is being taught in the B school, and after that you can make progressions very quickly, and you are more dynamic in terms of being able to uh, switch locations very quickly, being able to spend a lot of time on the field, especially for people who are interested in sales and marketing. So I knew that I wanted to get into the B school early. And when it comes to seeing yourself in 10 years, this is something that goes back to my point about knowing everything about yourself before you enter an interview. So again, before your interviews, your mentors will tell you how to prepare for it, but what I was told to do and what I did was I prepared a cloud about my introduction. So I answered the question of, tell me something about yourself. And for each, hook point or every point where, a questioning can be done, I made, more questions related to that single point, and then further that would stem into more questions and so on. And that is one way to introspect about yourself. Coming back to where do you see yourself in 10 years, just try to put in things like your areas of interest. If you know what field you want to do, what field you want to join after MBA, try to put that in. And also know that it is fine to not know to the T where you want to see yourself in 10 years, because I mean 10 years back no one knew that this year you were going to have a pandemic. Things change very fast. Jobs that are available right now might not be relevant at that time. They will get obsolete. So you need to have that understanding that what you plan right now may or may not be how it is going to go. uh, right, we have more questions. We have Amisha: how did you manage to change the topic in the interview where you didn't know about the particular thing but still managed to keep your knowledge? See, Amisha, if you don't know something, no, just say that I don't know the answer, and it is completely fine to say that, because I mean you are not all knowing, right? If you try to deflect a question, then the interviewer will catch on. They have been doing this for a lot of years. So spell it out, say that, sir, sorry, I'm not sure about that, and just answer the next question. But when it comes to keeping your interview away from your weaknesses, that is something that you can or you should be able to control. How you do that is coming back to my point of dropping hooks in every answer that you give. So try to relate your strengths to the question that is being asked, and put it in an interesting way so that the interviewer would like to know more about it, and that is how you can keep the interview in the direction that you want to take it. Next is uh, Abhay, who says, I have seen people take a lot of time to grow in corporate, but as a IM pass out, how is it? Like, is it a slow process to grow, or that college holds a good weight in our growth? Okay, so Abhay, right now I'm a management trainee. Okay, and once my management trainee stint will get over, that is in maybe the next 5 or 6 months, I will be made the ASM, that is the area sales manager. There are 36 area sales manager in area sales managers in India for Marico, and within, like, under each of these area sales manager, you will have a lot of people reporting to you. So as a B school pass out, you can skip those initial stages of, you know, growing through the territory sales officer stage, or, you know, a lot of people do rank up from even the DSR stage, that is your sales representative stage. So yes, you tend to skip a couple of steps because of that, but do know that, I mean, you will have to experience them for at least once. Like right now, a week back, I had taken the role of a salesman, and I was going from shop to shop trying to get orders for my products. So while it may seem that, you know, you would have completely gotten rid of the legwork, that will not be the case. And does it hold a good weight in your growth? Definitely it does.
Yes.
Next is, but also your performance matters. Yeah. And me,
Okay. Is there anything else? I can't see anything here.
there
Is
is a
there
private
anything
question
posted?
from me to ask: how many mock you attempt before CAT? Uh, I I don't remember, but Vijita ma'am, how many mocks do we have before CAT?
I think
attempted all
in
of
your
them.
time, yeah, there used to be something like 25 plus mocks, 25 for CAT alone, and there were a lot of, add-ons that we used to give you. Okay,
Right.
the case is completely different now. I think this group will end up having at least 40 mocks of CAT alone,
Right.
close to 40 in terms of take-home mocks and other things. Okay, so there'll
Right.
be a plenty of mocks, and there are a lot of add-ons also for the other exams. You will have another, at least 5 mocks for each other exam that you're writing. So plenty of things. Okay.
Right. So, Meet, you got
Ah.
your answer there. I attempted all of them, and I also attempted mocks for NMAT. I mean, I just took one NMAT attempt, but I took all the mocks because I think, I mean, there's no harm in taking those tests, even if you're, not really planning to. It is all about practice, and just take as many as you
Right.
can.
Okay, I think we've covered a wide variety of questions, and you've been speaking nonstop for over 1.5 hours now. Especially the Q&A was nonstop. I have a small surprise for you, Ananya. There is a person who I think saw you very closely during those 21 months of your preparation, and I'm sure he has some lovely words to say about you. Shivam sir, if you are around, can you please come on? So batch mentor has a very close, a very critical
Yeah.
role in hand-holding an entire batch. And Shivam sir was the batch mentor of this batch. Of course, I was there as the verbal mentor, and I think I came a few months later to your batch.
Hi, Ananya.
Hello, sir. How are you?
How are you? Hello everyone. I am Shivam Joshi, and I am a QA and DI faculty and a mentor at Endeavor for last many years. I was the mentor of batch AC01, where Ananya was student. It was a 4 to 6 p.m. batch, and in fact, I can say that I was knowing him from the day one that he has entered to the system. So yes, as Vichita madam has rightly pointed out, I'm somebody who has known him from day one. What I liked about his approach towards his prep is mainly two things, right? Out of all the qualities, I will, highlight these two things mainly, which appealed to me the most. One is his adherence to the system was commendable. He has close to 100% attendance in the lectures. Not only that, every single thing, be it homework, be it testing, etc., has been taken up by him with utmost sincerity and regularity. And he has also mentioned a few minutes back that there is no harm in doing additional practice, right? So he was always keen on doing the work. He was always keen on doing the homework, testing, and additional practice. And everything that we have given in the system, he has taken up with the most sincerity and regularity. Okay, so that's point number one, which I want to highlight without fail. And the second point which I liked about him is I found him in him was that he was always ready to help the others, to help his batchmates. I even recall the name, a few names, which is Harsh, Evan, Ami, Krishna. So he was heading a small group of students who were constantly studying at the center. And not only these 4 or 5 guys, he was in fact even ready to help his entire batch. Right? He was always ready to reach out to the board and teach his entire batch of around 30 students, which he kept on doing during the marathon and the essential phase, which was very important, where the internal work of the student is unavoidable and inevitable at a certain stage. And that is collective philosophy that Endeavor has also believed in from start. And let me tell you, all of you, that if you want some takeaway from this session, in my opinion, it should be these two. I'll repeat these two things again. Number one, 100% adherence to the system. And second thing is your selfless approach to helping your batchmates by the way of engaging yourself in group studies. Okay, these are the two most important things which I want to highlight about Ananya. And that has definitely helped him, that has helped his batchmates also. Okay, with that, I wish that from these audience also we get many more Ananyas next year, and they will also keep inspiring their juniors the way he did this year.
Absolutely, yes. So very well put, sir. Very well put.
Thank you,
And
Shivam, sir. This brings back a lot of memories now.
I especially like that second point. Of course, the first point is a very, very critical one. But that selflessness that you were talking about, it's absolutely true. Ananya was always there to help his batchmates. And I think that is very natural leadership. So, your willingness to be there for others and handhold others is the natural leadership that you talk about. So very well put, sir. Thank you so much for that. Ananya, I'm sure you're very happy with this surprise, isn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, I think on that note, we should close unless there is something else that somebody wants to. There is one comment here in the chat box. Let me check. Yeah, nothing. That's nothing. Okay, so there are no further questions. Ananya, would you like to make some closing remarks? Anything finally, to put everything that you discussed in a nutshell, maybe?
So over the last maybe 1.5 hours, maybe all of you would have thought that, cracking CAT is like a really difficult thing, and you would have to give up on sleep and just about everything else. See, that is not the case. You will have to find ways to relax as well. You should not just see CAT as the end of the world. CAT is important, yes, but also find ways to do things that you like. Again, I would go back to my example. So during my CAT prep, I would play basketball in the morning for about 2.5 hours. I was captaining the basketball team at Ahmedabad University. So I would practice for those hours in the morning, then I would attend all my lectures, then I would get back to prepping for CAT. And even that those things help me in staying sane during the CAT prep stage. Always find people you think that can relate to you, because they're also going through the same system, going through the same work. Find people to study with, find people to talk with, find and find ways to de-stress, because even in B school, stress is going to be everywhere. You will have to see what what fits you in terms of stress relief, in terms of enjoyment, because these are the best years of your life after all. So just try to enjoy the process as much as you can.
Okay, on that note, I think we can stop. Thanks, Vivek sir, for that comment. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ananya, for joining us and for spending this valuable time. You, in fact, put in quite some time making this PPT as well. So thank you so much for that. It was so enjoyable, listening to you. And I'm sure all the students will have, gained a lot of value from this.
Anytime, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.